Welcome to Cabral HouseCall. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and today we're going to go over 3 of your questions that we've been getting all over social media. All right, so essentially, where to find credible nutritional supplements that you can feel safe about taking, and why not to buy them at a Rite Aid, CVS, Walmart, Target, Costco, those types of places. So I don't want to put down any places in particular. I know in the news, GNC and Walmart, some of those places have been kind of getting bad reviews on their nutritional supplements. And kind of the reason is very simple. It's an unregulated industry in terms of having to go through the processes of actually are those ingredients in there. What I can tell you is this. If you go through a company that uses third-party testing and they show you what's in their supplements specifically, you can feel pretty confident that they've done their homework because they're putting their brand of approval on that. You want to look for GMP, that should be on your bottle as well. That's important as well. But if you buy it through a naturopathic doctor, a functional medicine doctor, an integrative doctor, or online through a kind of functional medicine site, it's going to come, most likely, it's going to come from I keep calling it functional medicine, but it's kind of a catch-all, a functional medicine-based manufacturer. Their job is to make sure that it's based on research, that it doesn't have any heavy metals in it, that it does not have any contaminants like mold or mycotoxins, and that it actually has the specified amount ingredients in it so that you get results. It's really important to them, and here's the reason why. They only sell their products to doctors, and if the doctors are not getting their patients' results, they're not going to keep using that product. It's not a big mainstream type thing, and actually the margins on those are a lot smaller, so it is more challenging for these companies. Keep in mind that some of it is not a pretty industry, not a pretty business, and they're paying very little money for a lot of these products to just make as much as they can in a very short period of time, and then they're gone. You don't want to be a part of those companies. So can you save $5, $10 on like B vitamins or anything like that? Absolutely. But you have to look at it. If you were to go with just say like, or magnesium, that's a good example. If you take magnesium glycinate, huge difference between taking that and magnesium or carbonate or something like that, because even though it can be the same exact dosage, you're not going to absorb a lot of other types of magnesium unless it is the glycinate form, the lactate form, the malate form, versus the other types that your body can't even utilize. So sure, you can spend less money on the types that you can't utilize, but you're not going to absorb them at all. So what's the point? Another great example is buying B vitamins. So sometimes we'll even get questioned, can I get these B vitamins? We sell a methylated B vitamin someplace else. Well, you can, but the issue is that so many people have inborn methylation defects. That's what they're called. Meaning that you take in folic acid, but it becomes toxic in your body because you can't process it to folate and 5-methylfolate. That just means 5-methylfolate is the form that your body can actually use. And if you, because of some inborn mutation-based error in your genes or your SNPs, doesn't allow you to do that. So all you need to know is go with the reputable brand. It might cost you a little bit more, but in the grand scheme of things, look at it like this. You might be paying $5 more, $10 more for that product. And I know that seems like a lot, but the other form could be more toxic. And with this form, you probably need less of it. And also, it's over the course of a month or 2 months, because that's how most of the products cost or last that long. So if you look at it, it might be like 10 cents a day or 20 cents a day. So if you break it down, you can say, okay, yes, it is more expensive, but it's costing me 25 cents, 50 cents at most per day more than the other product. Hopefully that answers your question. It's not the area to cut back in my opinion. Is running an effective form of weight loss? I love this question. I've been getting it now for 20 years. The issue with running is this. Can you lose weight running? Absolutely. It is something that's going to burn a lot of calories, 500, 600, maybe a little bit more per hour if you weigh a little bit more. If you weigh less or have been doing it for a while, you burn less. The problem with things like running is this. So it's catabolic, which means it can potentially burn muscle tissue. That's not ideal. That means that can lower your metabolism in the long run. And the other issue is that it's self-limiting. That's the issue I have with running or any type of long-distance cardio. Self-limiting means this. I've tried to explain this before, sometimes not always that successfully, is that to get more out of running, meaning to break past a plateau, you need to run more or you need to run faster. Okay, so you can't run faster because then it becomes what's called more anaerobic than aerobic, and you have to stop because it kind of turns into a sprint. So you can't actually do that. So you have to maintain that pace that you're used to. And you can't do it for longer because how long are you going to run for? 2 hours, 3 hours? You're not going to run for that long. That's a waste of your time. And that comes to my last point. It's a lot of repetitive motion. If you run for an hour, you might get 10,000, maybe not that many, but you might get, let's say, potentially around 10,000 foot strikes on the ground. And if your biomechanics aren't great, which means your ankle, knee, hip, lower back, everything isn't in proper alignment, you could potentially be damaging your joints, your ankles, your knees, your hips, your lower back. And you need those for the long term, the long run. So should you make running or can you make cardiovascular work part of your weight loss exercise? Absolutely. But it should not be your first choice to lose weight. It should be done through metabolic resistance training. That can be body weight exercises alone. And it can be done through sprints. And then you can add some of that cardiovascular work as well. It should all work together. Just don't run every day for your weight loss. Okay, this is a great question. If I can't do it all, meaning like 100% go all in, should I even bother? So it's a really important question because there's actually a couple different sides to this. Here's the thing. We can apply this to weight loss. We can apply it to wellness. We can apply it to anti-aging. We can apply it to reducing stress, raising a family, all of these specific things. And here's the big takeaway, is that you should always do it. You should always try. And the reason is that you'll at least get some benefit out of it. Meaning like, if you can only eat well half of the time, well, at least you're eating well half of your meals. And so that means less carcinogens, less toxics, waste, less GMOs, less all of that other bad stuff that you don't want in your body, and then more antioxidants, more nutrition, more nutrients that your body's going to be able to absorb. This goes for wellness, this goes for nutrition. Exercise. What if you can only exercise twice a week? Twice a week is actually fantastic. That means you're going like a Monday and a Thursday with a workout. So now you're only going 2 or 3 days without working out in between. So that's certainly better even if you can't do 4 or 5 days a week. 2 days a week is fantastic. But now it comes down to this. If you're not willing to go in 80% of the time, meaning 8 out of 10 meals, 8 out of 10 weeks for good exercise, or 90%, it simply means this. You're not going to most likely get the results on the outside that you want to see. That's the only issue. On inside, you're going to be doing yourself a lot of benefit, and that is why you should absolutely do it. And it will accumulate over time, which means you might get those results that you want over the course of a year rather than the course of like a month or 2. And so it does matter. You just have to be realistic and just a little nicer to yourself, knowing that you might not get the same results that you want to see, but you have to be realistic. If you're only eating well a few days a week, if you're only exercising once a week or twice a week, you're just not going to get the same benefits, but you should absolutely do it because in the long run, it makes a huge difference. I hope these answered your questions today. Of course, we'll be back real soon with more of your questions on Cabral HouseCall.